General Manager survey offers a snapshot of a league already in motion. See, this is already a bad sign. They're talking about everybody but the main person. We're off to a bad start already.
That reaction right there tells you everything you need to know. The 2026 WNBA General Manager survey just dropped, and what should have been a celebration of the league's growth has turned into a masterclass in institutional denial. 42 questions, 15 teams, and somehow, the person who literally saved this league didn't even crack the top spot in multiple categories. So let's break down exactly what happened here and why the entire Fever fanbase is losing their minds.
Came in at 40%, followed by the New York Liberty at 33%. I'm not necessarily mad at that. The Las Vegas Aces did pretty much retool in a really good way. They brought back their main players, and the addition of Kennedy Carter definitely puts them at the top of the food chain in terms of the potential of winning the title. All right, the Kia MVP, Asia Wilson at 60%, Breanna Stewart at 27%.
Start with the obvious one. The Las Vegas Aces got 40% of GM votes to win the 2026 championship, with the New York Liberty at 33%. That part actually makes sense. Vegas retooled brilliantly, brought back their core, and added Kennedy Carter to an already dominant roster. But here's where things start getting weird. When GMs were asked who should win MVP, Asia Wilson grabbed 60% of the vote. Breanna Stewart came in second at 27%. Caitlin Clark, she got lumped into also receiving votes alongside Alicia Gray. Think about that for a second. The player who broke every attendance record, every ratings record, who had arenas selling out in markets that couldn't give tickets away the year before. She's an afterthought in the MVP conversation according to the people running these teams.
If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the WNBA, who would it be? 33% of the league said Paige Buekers, and I'm ready to lose my mind. Paige Buekers won like 5 games last year. They were terrible. They play in a gym that holds like 3,000 people. Like you could fit a backyard cookout in their gym, and she couldn't even sell it out. How are you starting your franchise?
But that's not even the most ridiculous part. Question number 3 is where this survey completely jumps the shark. If you're starting a franchise today and can sign any player in the WNBA, who would it be? 33% of league general managers said Paige Buekers. Let me repeat that. Paige Buekers, who won 5 games last year with the Valkyries, who plays in a gym that holds 3,000 people and couldn't sell it out, who posted ratings numbers that were essentially invisible compared to what Caitlin was doing. She's the franchise player 1/3 of GMs would choose
to make the most adjustments. Asia Wilson at 60%, Alyssa Thomas at 13%. Okay, who else is getting face guarded full court, 94 feet, denied the ball? Who else is getting guarded and denied the ball in an all-star game? Who did that happen to? It wasn't Asia Wilson. It wasn't Alyssa Thomas. These people.
Here's what makes that answer absolutely insane. There is exactly one player in this league who sells out 17,000 to 18,000 seat arenas in every single city she visits. One player who drove a 400% increase in WNBA viewership in 2025. One player whose games averaged 1.2 million viewers on ESPN, while games without her averaged under 400,000. The Indiana Fever went from playing in front of 4,100 fans per game in 2024 to selling out Gainbridge Fieldhouse at 17,274 every single night in 2025. That's a 320% increase in one season. And it's not just attendance. Merchandise sales for Fever gear increased 850% year over year. The team's local TV ratings in Indianapolis went from a 0.8 share to a 4.2 share. National broadcasts featuring Caitlin averaged 1.84 million viewers, making them the most-watched regular-season WNBA games in 2 decades. Meanwhile, Paige Buekers and the Valkyries averaged 287,000 viewers on their broadcasts and played in front of crowds that looked like a high school game. So when general managers say they'd start a franchise with Buekers over Clark, they're either lying to make a political statement or they genuinely don't understand that professional sports is a business. And if it's the latter, that's actually more concerning.
Shooting guard. Now, the Indiana Fever used to be littered at all throughout this list, and it just shows how much of a debacle the front office has been. The fact that there's literally no respect for the team. They've lost the respect for the players, and part of that is due to the coach, Stephanie Bonehead White. just completely ruining the things for the team and the outlook.
Now we get to the point guard question. And this is where you can see the agenda clear as day. Who is the best point guard in the WNBA? Chelsea Gray received 73% of the votes. Caitlin Clark got 20%. Chelsea Gray, who's 32 years old, who looked completely washed during the Olympics where she got senior citizen status and was forced into the starting lineup despite clearly not being the best option anymore. The numbers don't even remotely support this choice. In 2025, Caitlin averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game, while shooting 42% from three-point range. Chelsea Gray averaged 12.1 points and 6.2 assists, while shooting 34% from three. Caitlin had a player efficiency rating of 21.7. Chelsea's was 15.3. In terms of win shares, Caitlin contributed 8.2 wins above replacement. Chelsea contributed 3.6.
Who's the best coach? You're not going to see Stephanie White anywhere involved in this. I know that much. It just is what it is. Stephanie White was which head coach is the best manager / motivator of people. She was in this list tied for second, but Becky Hammond.
But the advanced metrics tell an even clearer story. Caitlin's true shooting percentage was 61.2%, meaning she was one of the most efficient scorers in the entire league. Chelsea's was 52.8%. In terms of assist to turnover ratio, Caitlin was at 2.8 to 1. Chelsea was at 2.1 to 1. And when you look at on-off court splits, the Fever were plus 8.4 points per 100 possessions with Caitlin on the floor and minus 4.7 with her on the bench. That's a 13.1 point swing. The Aces were plus 2.1 with Chelsea on the court and plus 1.8 with her off. Essentially no difference. The eye test backs this up too. Chelsea runs like she's got a piano strapped to her back. She's still skilled, still crafty, still knows how to play, but the athleticism is gone. She can't stay in front of quick guards anymore. She can't push the pace in transition. In half-court sets where she can use her size and IQ to bully smaller defenders, she's still effective. But in a modern, up-tempo 5-on-5 game, there's no legitimate argument that she's better than Caitlin Clark right now. So why did 73% of general managers vote for her? Because this survey isn't about basketball. It's about sending a message. It's about making sure the established stars get their respect, even when a rookie comes in and immediately surpasses them. It's about protecting the narrative that the league has been building for years, even when reality is screaming something different. And here's what makes this particularly damaging for the Indiana Fever as an organization. This team used to be littered throughout these GM surveys. They used to be respected around the league as a well-run franchise with smart decision makers. But ever since the Stephanie White hiring, that respect has completely evaporated. You don't see the Fever mentioned anywhere in the positive categories anymore. Best run organization? Not there. Best coach? Not there. Best offseason moves? Nowhere to be found. The front office has become a laughingstock. The coaching situation is a debacle. And now, even with the biggest star in the league on their roster, the Fever can't get any respect from their peers. That's an organizational failure at the highest level. Look at the question about which team made the best overall moves this offseason. Dallas got the most votes, largely because they signed Arek Ogunbowale to a max contract. Never mind that most analysts think they overpaid. Never mind that Arek hasn't won anything. The perception is that Dallas is aggressive and trying to build something. Meanwhile, the Fever lost Angel Reese to Atlanta in free agency, watched as their roster continuity got destroyed, and made a series of moves that felt reactive rather than strategic. When GMs were asked about the most surprising move of the offseason, Angel Reese to Atlanta got 27% of the vote. Satou Sabally to New York got another chunk. The Fever weren't even part of the conversation, despite having the most valuable player in the league and theoretically being in a position to build a championship contender around her. Here's what that tells you. The rest of the league looks at Indiana and sees dysfunction. They see a coach in Stephanie White who's in over her head. They see a front office that doesn't know how to capitalize on having a generational talent. They see an organization that's wasting the prime years of the player who saved their franchise and the entire league. And the saddest part, they're not wrong. The Fever should be the model franchise right now. They should be the team everyone wants to emulate. Instead, they're a cautionary tale about how organizational incompetence can squander even the most incredible individual talent. So what does this mean for Caitlin Clark and the Fever moving forward? First, understand that this survey is a snapshot of how the league's power brokers view the landscape. And right now, they're viewing Caitlin as someone who needs to be kept in her place. She's too popular, too dominant, too disruptive to the established hierarchy. The fact that she came into this league and immediately became its biggest star threatens the narrative that veterans like A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart have been building for years. The agenda is obvious. Keep the focus on the players who've been here. Minimize the impact of the rookie who changed everything. Make sure the credit for the league's growth gets spread around rather than concentrated on the one person who actually drove it. It's the same playbook we've seen in other sports, when a transcendent talent arrives and makes everyone else uncomfortable. But here's the thing about agendas. They only work if the person being targeted lets them work. And everything we know about Caitlin Clark suggests she's not going to let a bunch of salty general managers dictate her career trajectory. She's going to keep showing up, keep dominating, keep filling arenas, and keep proving that the numbers don't lie even when the surveys do. The 2026 season is going to be fascinating because now there's a clear dividing line. On one side, you have the establishment, the GMs, the media members who've been covering this league for years and want to protect the status quo. On the other side, you have reality, the fans who are showing up in record numbers, the ratings that are spiking whenever Caitlin plays, and the undeniable fact that she's the most impactful player in the WNBA. Stephanie White and the Fever front office have a choice to make. They can either recognize what they have and build around it properly, or they can keep making bonehead decisions and watch as other teams figure out how to neutralize their advantage. Because make no mistake, every other GM in this league is studying the Fever right now, trying to figure out how to slow Caitlin down, how to take advantage of Indiana's organizational dysfunction, how to capitalize on the fact that the team with the league's best player somehow can't get out of its own way. The disrespect in this survey should be fuel. It should be motivation. It should be a reminder that nothing is going to be given, everything has to be taken. And if Caitlin Clark has shown us anything in her career, it's that she's pretty damn good at taking what she wants. This season is going to answer a lot of questions. Can the Fever get their act together organizationally? Can Stephanie White prove she's capable of coaching at this level? Can Caitlin Clark overcome not just the opponents on the court, but the institutional resistance from the league itself? And most importantly, will the general managers who filled out this survey look back in 9 months and realize how badly they missed the mark? My prediction, by the end of 2026, we're going to see another one of these surveys, and the results are going to be very different. Because you can ignore reality for only so long before it smacks you in the face. And in the WNBA right now, reality has a number 22 jersey and a logo range that makes defenders want to quit basketball. So to all those GMs who voted for Paige Buekers as their franchise player, who picked Chelsea Gray as the best point guard, who somehow found a way to minimize everything Caitlin has accomplished, I've got a simple message. Keep that same energy. Because when the Fever are hoisting the championship trophy and Caitlin's accepting her MVP award in front of a sold-out arena while millions watch on TV, we're all going to remember exactly what you said in this survey. The disrespect is real, the agenda is obvious, and the reckoning is coming. Get your comments in below. Tell me which answer in this survey pissed you off the most. And make sure you subscribe because we're going to be tracking every single game this season, watching as Caitlin proves all these doubters wrong, one arena at a time.